My name's Edward Towers and I'm the farmer here at Braids Farm in the Loon Valley in Lancashire. My background, well, I grew up here on the family farm and then I travelled a little bit and went to university. Following that I came back and I'd applied for some jobs in the industry and wasn't necessarily thinking of starting on the farm straight away. And then started working that summer and I felt like some of the things that I'd learnt during my travels and during university I could maybe help the family with, so I got involved in the family business and then we progressed a bit and it developed into a completely different business after a while. I don't really have a typical day. Because we have the farm and we produce the milk for coffee shops, my job can really vary between start doing emails to milking the cows to, you know, if there's something urgent gone on that day, I'll have to deal with that, but there isn't a set routine for me like there would be for most dairy farmers. So the plan for the farm is hopefully we're going to be a sustainability showcase. We want to do more projects on improving our carbon footprint, improving the environment, and so the idea is that we can do things and demonstrate that to our customers and also to other farmers. As we developed the farm and started to do barista milk, a lot of milk alternatives were marketing about how bad dairy was for the planet and how good milk alternatives were. I didn't want to run a business here, feel like, okay, yeah, we've made some money and we've survived, but feel like we've had a bad impact on the planet. So it was around trying to improve what we're doing and influence other farmers to improve what they're doing too. Nature and sustainability is something that, especially nature, I guess, from a very young age. I was very into David Attenborough documentaries and the wildlife that we had here on the farm. Farmers collectively have a lot of responsibility. We've got to feed everybody. We also release quite a lot of emissions whilst we're doing that essential service. Further to that, we own the land where all the other animals live. We've got the capacity to store carbon and that sort of thing. So I think as an industry, it's very, very important that we do the right things and that we're influenced to do the right things. Mutual is a feed additive that's primarily derived of garlic. That garlic is a natural antimicrobial that affects the rumen and the bacteria in the gut that break down fibre, and so it basically knocks out some of the bacteria that produce methane and reduces our emissions. On a farm like ours, around 50% of the carbon footprint of the milk is methane emissions, and so for us to be able to reduce 30% of that is a really big chunk of our carbon emissions. We came across that. My elder brother was involved in the business and he had a Nuffield scholarship to look into particularly a seaweed that could reduce the emissions, and so in his research he came across this other product that was already ready for market. We had a farm and a product that sold the milk directly to coffee shops, mainly in London, where a lot of the customers were aware of the carbon footprint of milk and quite discerning and wanting to move away from dairy to improve their carbon footprint. So we kind of had the customers that cared and could showcase it for that product, that company that had developed the product. So something that worked for them and worked for us and fit with our values and kind of the impact that we'd like to have on the world in terms of improving farming. So generally speaking, farmers are businessmen and they're incentivised to produce more for less, like that's how they make their business better. But the unintended consequences of that are sometimes on pollution or on the environment or on nature. So I'd love to see farmers incentivised to produce food and produce food in a good way, but also for them not to have so many conflicts between other areas. You know, they can produce food in a way that's better for the environment, in a way that reduced emissions, improved storage of carbon. If we could be incentivised to do that, then doing the right thing long term for the planet is also the right thing short term for your business too. Customers just don't know where the food comes from. We here have a product that we sell to coffee shops, so we invite our customers, or even if they're not customers but they'd like to come and have a look around, to come and have a look to learn, well, this is how we produce it, this is what we do. And that's good in two senses, because one, they learn, and two, it keeps us accountable. So when we've got supply chains that customers don't know where their food comes from and it's very opaque all the way through, it means farmers sometimes can do the wrong thing because they're not accountable from that direct customer, and customers don't understand either. So I think if we can have more understanding about where food comes from, consumers can make better choices, and farmers are then driven to do the right thing in the short term because they might increase their sales because of doing that. So, you know, Shout About Farming is great because it then is kind of through your lens is showing customers what's going on farms and what farmers are like, and kind of shortening that gap. We're such a small part of the population, and we're a long way away from the cities where everyone else lives, but we're actually really, really important for the long-term sustainability of the planet, of our food systems. And so I think probably over the next 20 years there'll be kind of hopefully this evolution in farming where we become more important, we're incentivized to do the right things, and more people are interested in how their food's produced because of the impact not only it has on their health but on the planet too.